Hello and welcome to the Wellness League podcast. My name is Jenna and I'm one of your hosts.
And my name is Ella. I'm also one of your co-hosts.
We're excited to be back for another week, third week in a row.
Oh, how exciting.
Fourth week. Where are we now?
3 weeks of actually recording, but it's our fourth week because we had a weekend of planning.
Yes, yeah. So fourth week. It's been a month. Happy 1 month.
Happy 100. We actually have 100 people listening.
Yes.
Now. Oh God, that was so exciting.
It's a milestone for us.
Oh, I got a little bit too excited for 100 people to be listening, but
yeah,
it's nice to know that somebody's actually out there playing it.
Yeah, that's more than your granny. She loves us.
Well, it's not like our mums listen, so at least we got somebody.
This is true.
Hey, but more than my boot camp members, that's all I can say.
Yeah, that's it.
What are we talking about today, Jenna?
We're talking about me.
When are we not talking about you?
So we decided that we were going to go into a bit of background on each of us, and so today we're doing an episode introducing me, and Ella's going to interview me.
Yeah, here goes my interviewing skills. I hope they're up to scratch.
And yeah, I haven't really prepared anything. We're just going to do a really kind of casual chat and just go with the flow and talk about what comes up. And
so pretty much we want it to be like how we talk normally.
Yeah.
We feel like everybody needs to hear that.
Yeah, not curated, just completely unfiltered. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a bit of a chat.
So the whole aim is this: I want everybody to know Jenna as well as I do, but with the juicy bits involved.
By the end of it, you'll know me very well.
I was going to say inside and out, but I better not.
Maybe not that well.
We'll leave that for Alexi.
Yeah, that's it.
Alright, so question number 1. What's your memory of how we met?
Oh, so we worked together at a gym.
A gym,
yeah. And our first meeting was me interviewing you for the job.
God, I was so nervous. I don't think I was nervous because of you. I was nervous because of the other people in the room. What do you remember when you...
I think we'd interviewed a couple of people. I remember you didn't seem nervous. You seemed super chatty, super wanting to work with people, help people. You wanted to help the older members.
I just remember that coming into my mind. I'm like, say this is going to get you the job.
Yeah, because it was a gym with a lot of older, over 55s.
Yeah, and I'd worked in previous gyms where I have trained like the over 55 classes, and I really seem to get along with that age group a lot better. Yeah.
And a lot of people, like, that's boring for them. And so you get these young guys or girls coming in and they're like, oh, I can do it. But you come further down the line once they've been working for a while and they're sort of not really passionate about it. And they're like, oh, I don't actually want to do it
I honestly ran into those classes. I was so excited to teach them. I used to teach like that Friday class every week.
Yep.
And we used to have the ongoing topic of if you were doing like bicep curls that you were like bringing cake to your mouth. And I had the whole class laughing their heads off, and that's how I knew I was doing an okay
You're doing
job.
well then.
If I had everybody laughing, we're good to go.
Yep. But yeah, that's my memory of how we met.
Oh, all right. So, what makes you anxious?
Oh.
Just say the first thing.
The first thing. There's a lot of things. I would say I get social anxiety. So speaking to strangers and small talk.
Horrible.
Yep. That's probably the biggest thing that makes me anxious.
Yep. That's what I would have said about you.
Yeah. Yep.
When you get dressed in the morning or when you get changed, what's the first thing you put on? So you've like taken your pajamas off.
Yep.
What's the first thing to next go on your body?
If I'm taking my pajamas off and getting dressed, I'm usually just putting trackies on.
Yep.
So trackies.
But your undies first?
I don't put undies on with trackies. Too restricting.
Okay, but if you're going out, what are you putting on first?
Oh, then it's going to be undies.
Okay. So, Jenna, do you wear undies under your tights when you go to the gym?
Yes, I've seen that's been a bit of a controversy.
I thought we had to talk about that.
Absolutely.
I can't stand not wearing them under my pants.
No.
Like, you wear different ones, obviously you wear thinner ones, but nothing.
Yep. I wear Under Armour Seamless. I'm not sponsored by them, but they are great.
If you want to sponsor us, we'll take it all.
They are a great underwear for gym
I'm a big
tights.
Bonds wearer. So
Okay.
I do like. What's your favourite part of yourself?
Like physically or... Yep. I was going to say my eyes. I like the colour of my eyes. It's something that I've never gone, oh, I wish I had this colour. I want to change my eyes.
Yeah. Like that.
Yeah.
Good job. Do you believe in loving the one or the one that's easy to love?
Not the easy option.
So you believe in loving the one?
Yeah, I don't believe that there's a one person. I think there could be various different options for someone that you're like have a connection with and can have a relationship with long term.
Yep.
But I don't think it comes easy.
No, but
It takes work,
yes,
relationships, and
of course you've got to grow and find more about each other.
absolutely. And there's difficult times, there's difficult conversations that need to be had.
Roller coaster.
Yeah,
Exactly, and you enjoy the high parts, and you got to have the lows to get back up to the high.
Yeah, you have to go through difficult things, and I think that's a lot of people have difficult situations and leave. And
of course,
these days, especially because there's so many
the factors in internally and externally.
Yeah, there's so many options to. Oh, I'll just go online and order another one, kind of thing.
I'll just swipe left or right until I find the next one.
Yeah.
Or just go to the pub and pick up what you got there.
Do people pick up at the pub still, or bars?
Or bars? I wish.
I don't even know. I feel like people are.
Yeah, I guess it depends what age group you are too. I feel like over 30 you could pick up there.
Yeah.
Or maybe like 18 and just take a random person home.
I feel like people are too scared of rejection to come face to face. They would DM you.
I couldn't be bothered. Don't think I could pick up at a pub. I need to know something about you before we meet.
Yeah, and it's just based on face value, just looking at someone.
Yeah. Alright, what's your favourite way of eating potato?
I love sweet potato, and it's got to be in the air fryer, like sweet potato chips.
Good choice. Yeah, nice one. What's something you remember from your childhood?
Playing marks up in the driveway with my brother
Oh, how fun.
and dad.
Who was the better marker?
Probably my brother, because he played football. I was just there for shits and gigs.
You were getting ready for AFLW.
There was no AFLW back in my day.
You were prepping, alright? Just 20 years early.
I was just there for fun.
What's your dream superpower?
To be able to read or learn something and just know it. So, like, you know that movie Limitless?
Yeah, yep.
And he takes the pill, but he could just say he just reads a book on Spanish. Now he just knows Spanish. Anything that you just absorb the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where would you like to see yourself in 10 years' time?
10 years would be... Well, I'm just trying to work out how old I'd be. I'd be 46. Good Lord.
Oh, my God.
I'd hopefully be feeling fulfilled in whatever I'm doing.
Yep.
It's probably going to be in fitness or wellness or health or something.
You reckon you'll stay around the industry?
I think so. There's been various times in the last decade I've tried to leave and realised that it's ingrained and it's part of me.
Yep.
So, yes, or somehow in like marketing kind of realm, but still involved in fitnessy stuff, I would say.
Yeah, fair enough. You're that far deep into it now. What's the point of leaving it?
Yeah. Maybe have a baby or a child at that point.
Yep. Yeah.
Probably move house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. What's your death row meal?
Salmon and sweet potato. I've probably been eating that for a long time.
But what's new? What's something that people don't know about you?
There's various things, but I don't want to share some things to the world.
Just say a fun fact.
A fun fact that people wouldn't know about
We need
me.
to pee before we go out for a run.
That is true. I do pee a lot. And there's a funny story behind this.
Go on.
We did the city to bay.
Oh, I remember this.
We started running and we were in the city because you wait in line before you start for a while. So I went to the toilet, went in the line. All right, ready, and there go. So the race has started, but because there's so many people, by the time you get to the start line, it's like, okay. And then we started running. We haven't got out of the city, and I'm like, I need to pee. So we had to find a public toilet mid-race.
What's new? What's your biggest fear?
I was going to say dying. That came to my mind first, but probably not me dying. It'd probably be people close to me losing people.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. The last thing you cried about?
I cry when I'm stressed and overwhelmed. So I think I reckon I cried last week because there's like a lot of things happening and the dog wouldn't start barking and I was like, I can't do this anymore. That was my cry.
Solid. If you could create the perfect theme park, what would be in it?
A roller coaster?
Yep.
I don't like going underwater, so no water slides or anything. I'm scared of that.
Okay.
I would think like something like Movie World or Universal Studios.
Like lots of fun people running around.
Maybe a Barbie theme park.
But it's going to have lots of toilets before every ride.
There are going to be a lot of toilets around. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? A lot of people are going to going to love this.
Yeah.
You know what? You could go into the Barbie houses.
You could have
the
like...
roller coaster could go through the Barbie house.
Yep, and you could have like all these kind of, like, you know, the convertibles and camper vans and all of those things.
Them.
Maybe you could have like, you could stay there and the accommodation is in Barbie's camper vans.
Oh my god, so if anybody wants to sponsor this, I'm happy to draw it and we can make this happen.
If anyone has the capital.
We're here for it.
Yeah.
And a location.
Yep.
Preferably in Australia, but we don't mind as long as you fly us there to help build it.
Yep.
We'll be there.
That's it.
Love it. Alright. That was a good one. Dogs and gyms. Do you agree that dogs should be allowed in gyms?
I think dogs should be allowed anywhere they want to go, really.
Yeah.
Yep. You know dogs and gyms, I like it. Usually the gyms that allow dogs, they're pretty cool people.
Yeah, like CrossFit gyms and stuff. I used to love bringing Sadie to the gym. Yep. She used to bark at people when they were doing like double unders or skipping, and when they stopped, she'd bark at them to make them go again. She was the best gym dog ever. How did you meet your partner?
In the gym that we actually met in.
This was a gym of meeting a lot of people.
It actually was. So
quality people though.
One of the gym instructors there had previously worked with him at another organisation. Yes, they'd worked together. Gym instructor there introduced me to him.
Did he bring him in to train one day? I think I was there.
Yep, he brought him in. They trained together.
I remember there sitting behind the desk being like, oh my god, what did he just bring in?
He was chatting to me behind the desk, I remember, and then the gym instructor asked me if I was dating anyone, because there was someone that was sort of hanging around. I'm like, no, I've told you this. I'm not dating them. And he said, oh, do you want to date my friend Alexi? And I was like, why?
Which is your answer to everything.
Why first? Like, what's wrong with him? Why are you trying to palm him off to me? And then he's sort of like, no, he's this, and this, and this. So he gave me a reference. And I was like, all right, well, you tell him to... I wasn't going to do it. You tell him to message me and add me on Facebook. Yeah. He needs to approach me.
Yep, love that.
And he did.
You've been together how long? 3 years?
4 years and 3 months.
Good quality. Good effort, Alexi. Good effort. You did well. What have you been most scared of?
The most scared? I probably get quite scared like when I'm home alone at night. I think someone's breaking in or I hear noises. Like, I'm super anxious at night. Yeah.
If you could be the president or leader of a country, which one are you leading?
Which country?
Yeah.
Oh.
Barbie Land.
I was like, in my head, I'm going, which one's got the most money? So I was like, either like America or China.
Neither. I wouldn't go. What about Saudi Arabia or something? There's oil on tap and that makes you mega rich.
I feel like the
but
Chinese...
then they don't like women, so...
The Chinese have a lot of things.
COVID too.
And they can make their own rules. Like is it a president? What is he?
Yeah, I guess so.
Whatever he is, he can do what he wants. If he makes a rule, like, people have to do it. We want to ban social media, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Like, so I basically want to be a dictator, is what I'm saying.
not North Korea level, but you want to be up.
I don't like it. Being like,
see you later.
Off with his head. Off he goes. Don't like that guy, he's out.
What's your skincare routine?
To have a morning and evening, different things. So in the morning, both, I do like a basic cleanser and then like a more active cleanser, double cleanse. Morning I use, at the moment, vitamin C serum, moisturiser.
Do you have like a preferred brand?
Yes, Viviology is the serums I use.
Yep, so if you want to sponsor us, we'll happily use your products.
And Skinstitute is like my cleansers and moisturisers.
Yeah, no.
And then in the evening I use a retinol serum.
Yep.
And then an ASAP, like nighttime.
Have you been using that retinol? I know it's a bit of a fad at the moment, but have you been using it long?
Yeah, a little while.
Any good?
I had heaps of bumps on the side of my face. Not pimples, it just felt rough.
Okay.
That's completely gone, so I don't know whether it's that or it's just a coincidence. Not sure.
Yeah. Call it the retinol.
Yeah.
And then final question, what makes you happy?
Feeling connected and loved.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good job.
Cool.
Alright, moving on. So, let's go back into your fitness industry and where you started on that. Let's chat about your career.
Yeah, so a bit about my journey. So, career-wise, my first job in the fitness industry was on a gym front desk. It was at Genesis no longer, that doesn't exist anymore.
But shout out to all the members who used to go there.
Shout out to the members, my colleagues that I used to have.
Do you still talk to any of the members or the colleagues you had?
I still have them on social media.
Yep.
And like some of the PTs there. Yeah, absolutely. So one of the PTs that was there started Revel. He's a founder of Revel.
No
So
way.
that's like quite a big thing. Another one started a gym, more of like a CrossFit style gym down that way, down south. One of the PTs is my ex.
Oh.
I don't know what he's doing now, but he did open a CrossFit gym in Melbourne, I believe, but I'm not sure what he's doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely see people on social media and people that I cross paths with. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, then where did you go from that gym?
I moved to Queensland.
Yeah, to the sunny side of the country.
Yeah, I moved to the Gold Coast with an ex-partner there. I wasn't working in fitness, but I was sort of like starting to get into the weights and thinking about competing and things like that.
So this rolls back into what we were talking about last week.
Yeah, about the competitions and things. When I moved back to Adelaide, so I was only there for 12 months, we split up. Then I got involved in the competing. So I got back and I was like, yep, I'm going to do it. I'd met a new partner then who was away, the Air Force quite a bit. So I was like, I've got some time on my hands. I'm going to compete and put time into this. Did that. Studied to be a PT at the same time.
Did you do your PT course through?
FIA Fit Nation, who are no longer with us.
Right.
Did that online, so Cert 3 and Cert 4. And then I started doing mainly like outdoor fitness, really.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed, I didn't want to be in a gym environment, enjoyed like female training outdoors, which is what you do now pretty much.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to be coaching outside of a gym. Because what you can do is quite limitless out in the park, or you've got benches, you've got during the place to run around.
Yeah.
Whereas a gym, you're quite stuck in the four walls.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nice different style to coach. I actually prefer coaching outdoors now.
Yeah.
Because I like being able to use everything that's around.
I think I liked also that it was like quite freeing. Yeah. Like there's no one around really than random people in the park. Also, there's no other PTs to like compete with.
But there's dogs.
There's dogs.
You get to run and pat a dog on the way through.
And then, and there's going to be some beautiful locations when the weather's great. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. I don't mind this time of year, even though it is a bit colder, but you can push a bit harder because you are cold to start with. You're not overheating.
Yeah,
and you can...
You want to warm up.
Of course. And you do come out sweaty if you push it hard enough.
Yeah.
You don't want to push too hard, but I mean, it's nicer to go out when it's cold rather than a singing hot night.
Oh,
you're just not very motivated.
Yeah. You're slow.
Summertime.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so then I was after I competed, did that, I went through, we'll talk about this after, but through... I guess some mental health issues after competing, post-comp blues, eating stuff. But I moved to Newcastle with the Air Force guy and I started my female training there. So it was like a lot of the beaches and the parks.
Oh, that's a dream.
Yeah. And I started doing more stuff on social media. So I had a sponsorship with ASN there in Newcastle.
Yeah, right.
It was all like little things I was doing in the fitness industry, PTing, like mobile PT, and did diploma of nutrition and dietetics.
Yeah.
And then I started doing that as well.
That's like the perfect match up to a trainer, so then you can offer like the full package.
Yeah. Yep. I started doing some online meal plans and things like that.
Yep.
And then I moved back to Adelaide and went, I was like, I have to get full-time work. I'm not in a position to just start up a PT business. So I was going into gym management, and that was, Anytime Fitness, and then at the Recreation Council run gym that we met at.
Yes.
So I was there for 3 years. Bit of like COVID happened, and then I was back into like female boot camp, someone else's, but I was helping manage.
Did a full circle.
Yeah.
All the way back to where you started.
Yep. I was helping manage and I guess recruit their trainers and things like that. Now I'm in like fitness education, so I work for a fitness RTO who offers Cert 3 and 4 in fitness on campus and also online.
Yeah, it's crazy how you've done so many different jobs, but fitness is still the root of that.
Yeah. Oh, and I did have Macro Sister for like
of course, you need
a few years as well, that's right.
Yeah.
So I was offering like macro plans and nutrition-based meal plans.
I did it for a while, and I remember how good it was. I was like, this was mid when I was racing triathlon. I think I was at my healthiest and fittest.
Yeah, it was good, like, and it was really taking off for a while there. was like I had like 20 odd clients a week, and then I was like, oh my god, how am I going to fit all these people in? Kind of.
What a problem to have.
I know.
Like being over loved rather than not enough.
Yep. I did keep it going for a while. I think the COVID times I was still doing it a bit, but it was tough because I'd get people come back with, there's no rice left on the shelf and things like that, and people are like, I've lost my job, I can't afford
made
this.
It really hard for everyone.
So that sort of stopped there, and now I'm sort of looking at other things. So I've been doing my Pilates instructor course, coming up to like I'm going to sit the exam soon so I can finally get the certificate.
How exciting. And you launched something new this week.
I did. Yes, I did. Blossom Fitness.
I like the name.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with that?
I just wanted to be like trying to think of blooming, transforming, changing, like
growing and
really starting from the, I guess like a blossom is something from the base, and it's just starting
from the seed.
Yeah. So, and what it is like an at-home based training program. So I found that after my surgery, I took a lot of time off from the gym and going to that more.
Like back to your grassroots and really taking it simple.
It was very simple and not, as no compound lifts or anything like that. I think in our first or second episode, I'd complained about feeling muscular, like overly developed in my traps and back. And it's actually helped with that, and I feel like I've slimmed down by doing that. Also, because of me not having to go to the gym, by not having to, get ready, pick an outfit, all of that stuff that takes time, I've saved so much time, and it's given me a creative outlet to A, start this podcast, B, start the business, get into my Pilates study, my social media study.
And you can do it with your trackies without your undies on.
Oh, you can do whatever you want. And I've set up a home.
Oh yeah, what equipment are you playing with?
Yeah, so I've got a bench, $49 from Kmart.
Love a Kmart purchase.
Dumbbells. What else have I got? That's
booty
probably
bands?
I do have booty bands. Yep. So that's probably like the main things that I'm using.
I don't think you really need much else.
No.
Maybe a kettlebell or something. But
No. So I'm wanting to help women who are either new to their fitness, maybe had surgery themselves, recovering, new mums, maybe just women who are like have super busy careers, but obviously you need to be moving and need to do something for your health.
Especially if you're having like a sit down job. It's something that you can come home to, do a quick half an hour before you cook dinner, and you've done it.
And we spoke about gym anxiety, and I'd been experiencing that and not able to fit in and I was like, I've set this place up at home and I'm enjoying this. Why do I need to go back? I'm getting results that I want.
And you don't have to pay all that money out for a membership. Ever since you said about that gym anxiety, I've had so many people come up to me, whether it's been at the gym or through Instagram DMs. I'm like, that's how I feel. Like I walk in, this is male and females. And they said going to the bigger gyms like a Deramit's or the oversaturated with people. Somebody I was talking to this week was saying they were just doing some rehab deadlifts for their back. And this girl was next to them with maybe 3 times the amount they had on the bar, and she looked over at them and was kind of gave him the look, being like, why aren't you lifting heavier? He's doing his rehab.
Yeah, okay.
Like, let him be.
Yeah. And it's also that perceived, maybe that person wasn't thinking of it, maybe they were, I don't know. But
why it's so competitive again? Back to the home workouts, you won't have this problem.
No. You can shut the blinds, no one can see you. And I've felt like quite free in I'm jumping around, dancing around in my lounge room.
How good.
That is like, I would never do that in the gym.
Yeah.
Never.
I find I like do a couple of home workouts, so I've got a bit more of a setup just because of my business. I've got like your squat rack, your concept bike rollers here.
You've got a great little gym set up here.
I use it more, but it's really nice when I don't want to go to the gym. I really like just doing a quick 20-minute workout and using a bit of the weights and the concept ergs to kind of do something different. And I probably wouldn't do that at the gym because the weights and cardio are too spread out. That it's too complicated to set up there. So why would I do it? And it's also great. Like I do a lot of work from home, or I'm sort of based all over the place. So depending on my day, I could at lunchtime I'm just going to do a half an hour workout and then get back to my work, and it doesn't interfere really with any of my day, where it used to take like a couple of hours because I'm a bit of a perfectionist in okay, what's the outfit? Also being sponsored by Ryder, where I want to make sure I'm looking the part. Of course.
Because I'm representing them. That's another part of it as well, is then trying to film in the gyms. Obviously at home, I can film there, no one cares because no one here.
Nobody cares that the tripod's in the way.
So it's like they're getting ready, and then sometimes I feel like I use fake tan all the time. I haven't had to do that as much because I'm like, I don't care. It's winter.
So you're saving money in all ways.
Yeah.
Especially in this cost of living crisis. So no gym membership.
Yep.
No fake tan. You don't need a new outfit for every workout you're going to do.
No.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's been
And you're saving petrol from not going to the gym because you're doing it at home.
This is true. And like we're pretty lucky here in Adelaide in terms of parking, things like that. But I know like when you're in
the eastern states,
if you're in Sydney and you're having to drive to your gym and then drive around the block a few times because there's no parks or pay for the parking potentially. It's such an inconvenience that it deters people from going out to doing it.
Of course, yeah. If I had to do that, if I had to drive around more than once, I'd leave.
Yeah.
Because that would do my head in.
Yeah. And there's been gyms that I've been to where they're very limited parks and you've got to allow that extra time because I'm probably going to have to park up the road and then walk back down, or there might not be, just depending.
Really turns you off wanting to go.
Yeah. It does. It really does. So, yeah, saving all of that. And I was like, well, not many people are doing coaching in that sense. So
I think you've really hit a market that has never been looked after properly before.
Yeah.
So you've had these trainers who've come along, like say during COVID and offered it, and then after COVID they're like, all right, back to the gym.
Yeah. And I want to offer it as a challenge type thing, and then there are people that are like I will offer
an
custom
support kind of thing.
Yeah, and custom like macros if they're like, oh, how much should I eat? Like I won't probably delve too much into like exact meal plans.
Yep.
But if someone knows how to track macros and they want macros, like I'll assign that to each person as well for the challenge so that they know how much to eat, and then give like recipe ideas and things like that.
I really find like hitting your protein macros is so hard.
Oh yeah,
Especially when you're like training a fair bit or you're lifting a lot, trying to keep your protein amount up to where it needs to be.
Yeah. And
that's where someone like you comes in and really helps.
Yeah, I used to eat a lot, try and hit higher protein targets, like a lot more. I don't know why. I probably didn't need it, but I backed that down and found that I can be more compliant over time.
Yeah, like you find your groove in your body and how it works.
Yeah,
under the macros that you work with.
Yeah, and I've also learnt that. So for who used to give like macros for a calorie, protein, carbs, and fats.
Yep.
Honestly, as long as you're hitting your calorie and protein intake, the carbs and fats can change. If you're eating more carbs one day or more fats, doesn't matter.
They even out anyway.
You've got to eat a minimum amount of dietary fats for hormone health.
Yep.
But it's very hard to stay under fats. So for some, unless you're eating like plain chicken breast cooked in no oil and no avocado and just rice, then
I feel like those two as well are very easy to go over on because you never know, like you're eating something, like you said, high in protein, but then you're going to put something with it. Yeah. But then that's going to push you over on your fats, but then you need those calories to get up to your calorie max.
Yeah.
But then for some people, if they're going over, they're like, oh no, it's a problem.
Like, and
it's really not.
And if you're like, I don't know, you had more potatoes, if you like our potatoes and cereal, and you had a carby day, just have less fats and that's fine. You're in your calorie allotment.
Yeah, I do like that way. It's much looser, but then you don't have to
it's not too restrictive.
Because then that leads into you obsessing over it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's my journey, and that's where I'm at now.
So we've had a few questions about your surgeries, and everybody wants to know a little bit more about it. It's time to talk. Titty time.
Ah, yes. Surgery. So I had this, I reckon it's coming up to 10 weeks.
Let's scroll back to when did you first think about it and why did you want them?
2012, I inquired with them initially with the people that I went through.
Did you research it a bit?
Yes. So I'd been looking at it and I was like, yes, no, expensive. Don't know if that's a priority at the moment.
What made you go, that's what I want to do?
Fitness.
Yeah, I've heard that's very common.
And I never came back.
Oh.
So
that's sad.
I probably in a little bit, but not to, I never really had a big bust anyway.
Yeah. And then from there, so you spoke to them?
Yeah.
Information?
I did back then. I did speak to them again in, I think, 2019.
Did you look at a few different places as well?
Yeah, and I've seen like a lot of other friends in like the fitness competing kind of stuff who'd gone through the ones that I went through. So
and did you also look at the pros and cons between having it done in Australia and overseas? I know that's fairly common.
I didn't look overseas because I was just concerned about the level of healthcare.
Okay.
Because it's usually like third world countries that you're getting it done.
Yep.
And I didn't think like huge amount of travel would be ideal, and you're not going to enjoy.
Yeah, the time after having them done.
No.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really a thing that I wanted to do. And then this year I decided
It was time.
it was time.
It was titty time.
I think I was going through a bit of a new chapter, a new era.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a line in the sand kind of moment, like, this is Jenna 2.0.
Yep.
I'm changing all these things, and
we're moving forward into the future.
yeah, so physical changes, mental changes, a lot of changes, but that was just one of the physical things.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And so from getting the information to flying to Sydney to get it done,
Yeah.
what happened in between then?
So initially, like, you have the consult on the phone, chat about it. They're pretty quick, lock you down. Like,
Okay.
here's your deposit, and then you're going to have a consult with someone. You're going to book you in for this over the phone with a surgeon or someone.
Yep.
You're going to have a consult with the surgeon. Who'll go through what to expect.
Right.
Then you book in your surgery time and everything like that.
Did you have to have any appointments with your doctor here before you left, or?
No, so I think you do now.
Okay.
But-
yeah, so you got in just before the time
Yeah.
where they brought in their legislation about that?
Yeah, if you do have anything medical, they want a letter from your doctor. So it could be anything from, like, if you had been taking anything for anxiety or anything like that. They just want...
to clear themselves?
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, it was a pretty quick process. Like, they have dates that you can book into.
Yep.
So it's like, they might say, oh, this date, we've got on the list that surgery's happening.
Did you like the idea of going in winter as well, so you could hibernate for a bit before you unleash them to the world?
Yeah, I actually didn't think about it that way because I wasn't really prepared. I originally booked in for November.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like,
Too close to summer.
I didn't think of it that way. I was like, I want to get it done sooner. I've got more time.
Yeah.
But it's actually worked out in my favour because there's quite a big recovery process afterwards.
Did you know about all that as well?
Not really. Like, I probably wasn't prepared and just thought of it and, like, minimised it in my head, like, oh yeah, of course you're going to recover, but didn't really think.
Almost a major surgery, right?
Yeah, so you have to wear a surgical bra for 3 months post-surgery.
Yeah.
There's also some support straps that I had to wear for 6 weeks post-surgery. They're really uncomfortable, so imagine in summer it would be absolutely hot and annoying.
Sticky on you.
Yeah.
No thanks.
You don't really want it sweating. I can imagine being gross on the wounds and things like that. You can't then wear certain clothes because you've got to wear these stupid bands and things. So covering up winter's fine. In summer, I'd imagine it'd be hard to put clothes on around that.
Yeah.
And then staying out of the sun would be another issue.
Okay.
So
just to let the wounds heal. And
you're not supposed to, get the scars or like the incision spots in the sun.
And had you had a surgery before, so you knew what it was like going under or anything?
I'd had my tonsils out once upon a time.
Okay.
So I'd had anaesthesia then and been under.
Yeah.
So I hadn't experienced any issues with it, but so many girls had told me about feeling sick and vomiting from the anaesthesia, and it's a common side effect. Like, people say 24 hours I was just non-stop throwing up all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't have any of that.
And were you glad that you had a support person there as well to help you throughout the process?
Yes, you have to have, so part of it is you have to have a support person with you. Someone has to pick you up from the hospital.
Yep. Especially that you were in another state as well. It's probably very important that you took Alexa with you.
Yeah, and I wasn't able to lay back in bed or sit up in bed. So I was very needy at that time that I was like, wake up in the middle of the night, Alexei, I need to go to the toilet. And so you have to sit me up, wait for me to come back, and then lay me back down.
Yeah. But
yeah, I wasn't in too much pain. Probably the major pain was my lower back because I'm such a side sleeper.
Oh, right.
And I had to stay on my back. Yeah. And I just couldn't move to get out of that.
Is it also because you weren't as active as you normally were to keep that moving around?
Could have been. I did walk quite a lot. Like, I didn't really stop walking. Like, I was walking on pretty much the next day. We had to go. I had the surgery on the Saturday, and then on the Monday I went back to see the nurses. We got an Uber there, and then we're like, let's just walk back. So I walked back 3 kilometres
that's
back
not
to
far.
the to the thing. I was fine.
I All right, so tell us a little bit about the size and the placement you got done.
Yeah, sure. So the sizing I got 2 different sizes in each boob because one was bigger than the other.
Yeah, isn't it really common?
Yeah, it's pretty common in a lot of people.
Yeah, right.
So to get the sizing, there's actually a graph that the surgeon has, and he measures your chest wall.
Yeah.
You're quite restricted in terms of what sizes you can go. So
Okay.
based on the chart that he had, he was like measured my chest wall and my stats and things like that, and gave me a bit of a range. I think there was like 3 different sizes to choose from, and I went for the middle of what we talked about. I did try on each of them.
So they gave you like a bra and you inserted
to feel how they would look and how they are going to feel. So I'm quite narrow, I guess, in terms of width.
Yeah.
So the way the surgeon explained it to me was like a block of land.
You're talking my language now.
So he said, if you think of it like a block of land, you've got quite a narrow block.
Yeah.
So you can't build a big house, like a big wide house. You can build up, which is the projection.
Yeah.
Which is going to be your profile, whether you have a high profile and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I let him know that I didn't want it to be super fake looking, so fairly natural, slightly noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to have, I guess, the flexibility that if I was for work things or family things, I didn't just look like a big pair of boobs.
Yeah, and that you didn't want to end up on embarrassing bodies in 5 years' time.
Yeah. So I wanted to keep it fairly natural looking, but then still wearing certain things that it was a little bit obvious, but not hugely in your face.
Yeah, that's really important, or else if you went too big, people would start noticing it and start.
Yeah, I think certain people will have judgment on that.
Of course, yeah.
Some people don't care.
It's cosmetic surgery. Everybody's going to talk about it.
Yeah, and people have opinions, and there'll be certain people that are like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm quite conservative in most aspects of life, so I didn't want to be like that, which is fine for people who aren't like that, and they've got different careers, families, whatever their backgrounds are, and they want to look like that. That wasn't my goal. So the sizes I got was a 335cc and a 355cc in the other boob.
Yep.
He also said my boobs were quite far apart.
Yeah. Right.
So to build up the cleavage, he did a bit of fat grafting from my inner thigh. Put some fat in there to build up the cleavage a bit more.
That's smart.
Yeah. So it was a bit involved. The placement was under the muscle.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's called dual plane.
Did you get a choice on that?
No. So I don't know where he came up with that, but I think most of them, from what I've seen, he did under the muscle.
Do you reckon that kind of holds them in a little bit better?
And it's longer recovery, but yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be more natural looking than being out from on top.
Yeah.
And then
Them being behind the muscle as well, so if you were to have a child, that you can still breastfeed?
I'm not sure if you can't the other way, but yeah, I can still breastfeed.
Yep.
But I don't know the other way if you can't, but it could be that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the shape is another thing that you have a choice in.
Yep.
So whether you have round, the ergonomic, and teardrop shape. So
which is the most natural one again?
Probably like the teardrop one. Okay. So mine are sort of like, they'll be round if I lay on my back, but they sort of move with gravity.
Yeah.
So give them more like of a natural breast shape and not too round.
Okay.
Yeah. So the round ones have probably got the more, they call the upper pole, so the top bit of the boob.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to keep it as natural as possible.
How good? So you're happy with them?
I am happy with them, yes, yep. A lot of people, from what I've seen, always feel like they could have gone bigger. I actually chose the smaller implant initially, and then I was unsure, and I spoke to the surgeon on the day, and he orders 3 different sizes because actually on the day when they do the surgery, the surgeon will put them in, and if they're not right, he changes them then and there.
Yes.
So you wake up and you don't really know what's happened.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I want to do the mid-size rather than the smallest one because I don't want to regret not feel like I've had a huge change.
Well, this is a guy who's seen a lot of titties.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And so he said, you know what, I'll put that size in that you're asking for. If it looks not what you want, I won't do it. Like, I'll just change and put the other ones in.
Okay.
I was like, all right, that means the decision, and if I make the wrong decision, it's not me anymore, it's him.
Yeah,
You make the decision.
And also, do they tell you a time when you need to get them replaced? So like 10, 15 years time?
Yeah, so it's usually 10 years that you go in for revision surgery. He said to me that likely in 10 years I'll be, say, 46.
Yep.
So I'll probably need a lift at that point because you drop over time.
Yeah.
And then, you can have different implants put in, different size. The technology could be different then, who knows,
exactly.
kind of thing. Yeah.
And what's the implants filled with?
So it is a silicone.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, the silicone, saline's like the watery one.
Yep.
So the silicone, like, I think what I've seen it explained as, like, if you had a gummy bear and you bit the head off of it, like, it doesn't leak out.
Okay,
it
so you've
stays
got
in.
that, they're less likely of them kind of bursting.
Yep, that's right. And yeah, it was, a lot of people talk about breast implant illness, things like that. It was Motiva, the brand of implant he uses. From all the ones that they've used in the past, there's never been any recorded cases of that. It's not to say it doesn't happen, but they don't have any evidence to suggest that will.
Yeah. And surely somebody like him wouldn't use a product that he knows it's going to fail.
No.
Like, he's done enough research and enough implants.
There is a textured implant that was one of the options as well, and he said it has a very, very small chance, maybe like a 1 or under 1% of a certain cancer.
Okay.
So they'd let you know of that.
Yep.
You choose whether you want to do that, and if that's the goal. And he said, we'll go for the other ones, because like the smooth ones, because they've got the less likely to have any complications.
Yep.
So yeah, we went with that, and all has been good so far.
All right, so we got one more listener question to go. Happens to be one of our fanboys. So the question is, do you think there are way too many gyms, including group fitness, and not enough trainers?
Yes. So obviously I mentioned that I work full-time for a fitness RTO, and we get a lot of gyms, including group fitness, PT, whatever, come to us asking for trainers all the time. And do you have trainers that need work? And they're looking for quality trainers as well. So
quantity.
There's a lot of positions, and PTs are really spoilt for choice now.
I think it's such a big market that everybody's trained to be a PT these days.
Yeah.
But finding one to fit the role that you're hiring for is really complicated.
Yeah. And it is, a lot of people get qualified, and it's not an easy industry to work in. It's random hours.
Yeah.
A lot of it's casual work. Mm-hmm. It can be taxing, like working split sort of shifts, early mornings, late nights, when people aren't working is probably when you're working.
It's a high career for burnout.
Yeah. So it's probably romanticised a bit on social media.
Of course, yeah.
Seen as like this glamorous, like PTs.
Live up the dream as a PT and be
just
rich.
Exercise all day, you're in the gym having fun, middle of the day you're out at the beach because you're not working, don't have clients then, and running your own business and you're earning 6 figures. No.
It's a lot of work that goes into making that work. I do miss my gym days of working like jobs of just the gym. Yeah. But it's never where I want it to be full-time forever.
Yeah. And it does take a lot of work, but when you get, like, it is quite rewarding as well.
Especially when you're like running challenges or your PT clients, seeing where they've come from and moving forward into like where they get to is quite amazing. Yeah.
And I've met a lot of friends like yourself, met a lot of people, met my partner, through the gym and things like that. And you develop connections and relationships with people. Yeah.
I think it's very much a big thing in Australia, whereas you see like Europe and America and there's not a gym on every corner. Yeah. And it's a very different lifestyle. Yeah. And it's just not as saturated like we have here. Yeah. Like, I think there is, I don't want to say way too many gyms. Yeah. But there's way too much of the same type. Yeah. And not everybody wants to do the same thing. Yeah. And then you get the problem of not everybody has a good client base. Yeah. So you get lots of gyms, like a good franchise, but everybody's got like 50 members over 10 areas, like 10 locations, where instead you could have 5 gyms, you could have 100 members. Yeah. Yeah. People are spread out amongst things, and people get tired of things, and then they change. And very much. Like the motivation in people, it's very hard to keep up. And I think to keep members, you have to offer something in the sense of like community and something that they feel loyal to. Yeah. If you just offer them like just a gym, there's no loyalty. For a cheap price. They're just going to compare on price, or this one gives me this. They'll pay you the money, but they might come 5 times in a year. Whereas if you offer a little bit more, they're going to pay a little bit more, but they're going to be there at least 2 to 3 times a week, every week. Yeah. There's a gym that I used to go to in Kent Town, and I met another one of my close friends through there, and it was often like work out there, then we walk up to get coffee, and it was like hang about for coffees, and the community there was amazing. Like the owner and like trainers there had built something really special to be a part of. Yes. This is like beyond. Like, this is mine. We make a big effort that we will go to coffee after.
Yeah.
And it's really nice. So you train together, then you'll go and chat after.
Yeah. You feel good after. Yeah. It's social. It's connecting. Yeah. Connecting in a healthy way as well. Yes. It's not like, I don't know, getting drinks after work on a Friday.
And for something like mine, I have a lot of members over the age of 45, 50.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are retired, and this is the thing that gets them out of the house in the morning. They go and work out together for an hour, then they're going to have coffee, and it's a reason for them to get out of bed.
Yeah. And it probably is like, even at my age, I'm 36, it is hard to meet friends and make friends other through them maybe work or gyms. I've made like most of my friends. I can count like all of my close. I probably have 3 close best friends, and I have picked them up at gyms.
Thanks. I'm so glad I got picked up at the gym.
Like picked one at each gym. And take this one, and then moved on to another gym, and then maybe I'll collect another friend.
I think fairly similar. I've met lots of my friends either through playing sport or being fit, because then you all have something in common.
Yeah, you bond. Nothing like bonding through like not trauma, but people do bond through trauma, but they bond through suffering. So suffering in the gym together, and both feeling, I don't want to do this 1 minute burpees, and this sucks, and I hate it, but we're both hating it together.
Yeah,
and you bond.
Turn up to do it together.
You think that was horrible. You both say at the end, like,
but
that sucked. That was horrible.
But it's so much nicer getting up to go and do that crap with somebody rather than do it yourself. Yeah, because you wouldn't do it.
And now you've got a friend who also knows how much suffering you just went through and how horrible that was, and then you're like, go have coffee and talk about how hard that was
together. And then you have your coffee and you're good to go.
That's it. All right, it's time for PW and PB. So PW personal worst and PB personal best of the week. All right, so PW, let's go.
All right, my PW at the moment is opening social media. And every time I open up, either somebody's got engaged, they're announcing their babies, or they're in Europe.
Yes.
You know what? Like, good for you, but fuck off. No, I'm like, it's fine, but we're all in very different life stages. I'm happy for you.
Yep.
But I don't want to see it every time I open my Instagram or Facebook or social media page.
Yep.
I think they're just annoying. I'm a bit over it.
You're feeling like everyone is
in different life stages.
Yep.
Thanks for making me feel bad about mine.
I can relate to the Europe thing at the moment in winter. Like, stop sharing things about summer in Europe, and I am freezing my ass off in my beanie and puffer jackets.
Paying my mortgage. So get lost.
Yeah. I'm like, I hate it. I'm jealous.
Next time, pack me in your suit.
Yeah. So, your PB.
Oh, Jenna, did you watch the game last night? It was Matildas versus France.
I did not. You know that I do not follow much sport.
Mate, this is the greatest time in Australian women's sport. I know many of you are like, oh my god, here she goes again. But I just keep saying, this is a once in a 4-year event. This is more exciting than the Olympics.
Wait, does it only happen every 4 years?
The World Cup happens every 4 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're welcome. Fun fact of the day.
Here you go.
You learn something new every day.
That's it, yeah.
Well, anyway, when have we ever watched a female sport? Actually, you know what? It came up today on social media that it was the most watched sport ever in Australia's history.
Really?
Over the men's football, the men's cricket, the men's soccer.
Rugby. What's the Maroons and Blues? They have that thing.
Rugby, the rugby union.
They have their thing every... I don't know. We're in Adelaide. We don't follow that stuff.
Yeah, we don't follow the Eastern sports. But anyway, like 7 million people tuned in last night from all around the world and Australia to watch that event.
Yeah.
It was quite amazing. They played so well. Then they got into penalties and it took them a few kicks, but we got there.
Do you know my blow dry lady who does washes my hair every week? So she has 2 kids, one's a boy, one's a girl.
Yeah.
The girl, I hate sport, never watched sport, doesn't want to do anything physical, and she said to me she is super keen to watch it because
I have never
they're females playing soccer, and she's like wanting to watch it and has never cared about anything like this before.
So I've the opposite. I've always loved sport. I've watched so many different types of sport, but I watch the Matildas whenever they play anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a super fan, but now I could tell you every player on the field. When they go and kick that ball, I know exactly who's kicking it. And I could literally...
You're that invested.
I'm so invested. I've done backstories into everyone.
Yep.
And I've literally watched, not so much, I've watched all the Australian games, but I mean,
Yeah.
I've watched so many other countries that I wouldn't normally tune in and watch as well.
Do you know how many other countries, how many teams are there?
Well, in like women's sport, I looked at it, there's like 200 teams.
Oh.
I think the top, don't quote me on this, I think it's the top 30 make it to the World Cup,
Right.
even less. But now we're into the top 4. So after...
Who's the top 4? So France?
So actually, that's another thing. So out of the top 10 women's teams,
Yep.
only 4 out of the 10 have made it this far.
Okay.
So even the other day, going into semi-finals, it was only 5 out of the top 10 made it this far. The other teams were outside of the top 10.
Oh. So who are the good countries? Obviously Australia.
So before the World Cup,
Yep.
it was USA,
Yep.
Germany, Sweden, France is top 5, Australia's number 10, and then you had like countries like Japan and a few others in there.
Wow.
So we had a good set of countries. All that's left is Spain, Australia, England, Sweden.
And is it like the men's type sports that if there's some good Australian players that maybe later on the track the USA might pick them up and take them?
No, so they can't do that. They have to play for the team, the country where they're from, where they're born or where their parents are from.
Yeah.
But when they're not playing the World Cup, they go and play for European teams or they go and play for the English league.
I see.
So like the AFL being Australia, they have like English leagues.
Yeah.
And most of the girls go and play in England or they play in Sweden, or you have Ellie Carpenter who plays for Lyon.
Yeah.
Or you have Hayley Rasso just signed for Madrid. So they play in the European leagues for the rest of the normal regular season.
Yeah.
And so, they will have to go back to their home countries to play for the World Cup.
And so I guess the more popularity this gets, the more sponsorships they get, the more these players are going to get paid on par with men more than what it has been.
I think it's also important watching games like this for the younger ones to come up and see there are opportunities for us to play local grassroots sport and that we can go up and have somewhere to go after.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just a wag or a cheerleader, which is fine, but you want to have
You know what? The men are becoming the wags.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's crazy to think.
All the partners.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah,
so
cool.
Your PW.
PW of the week would be just feeling overwhelmed with, like, I've taken on a lot of things all at once.
Yep.
And they're all sort of got deadlines coming or things happening. So
Is it deadlines that you've set or other people have set?
Also myself. I've got bigger overarching goals and I've broken these things down into like daily tasks to complete. And so my daily task list is becoming like quite big and I'm like adding. So a little bit of stress, overwhelm, which then sometimes in the evening I'm just like, I feel like I just breathe. I'm not breathing. Why am I not breathing? Because I'm just feeling like just tension.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my PW.
I was listening to Jay Shetty's podcast about this the other day.
Yeah.
And he was saying, that's all good to write them down.
Yeah.
But just be happy at the end of the day that you did achieve something. Yeah. You may not have achieved your whole list, but you did something today.
Yeah. And that's probably my thing is I want to hit all the things and I tick them all off. But sometimes...
It's too much.
Sometimes I need to have gone... I'm not going to achieve that today. I need to
Do they then roll over to tomorrow?
That's the thing is then it will go on to the next day and then I'm in debt of the last task to do. Yeah. So there's that. Also, like Alexi's been away, so I've had the full responsibility of looking after the home, outside of home, the pets, all of that. There's not two people to take on things that we normally do.
You don't realise how much there is to be done.
Yeah.
Until you are home alone.
Yeah. And it's like if I don't put the bins out, the bins don't get... I can't just quickly text him and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to be home late.
I've got
Can you put the bins out?
The bins don't go out every week.
Yeah, okay.
They only go out maybe once a month.
You've got that handy neighbour, though. The handy man that I've seen pop around and put your bins out.
He puts them away.
Oh, he puts them away?
Yeah, he's my away bin putter.
Okay.
He always comes over with a funky outfit on and I see it on my camera.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. PB. I've got 2 PBs.
Have you?
Yeah, one we already talked about, which is starting the challenge and business and things like that.
We will also tag that in the show notes, so if you're keen, jump on.
Yep. So that, and the other thing is I applied for a little while ago for an ambassadorship with AWPT.
Yeah.
And they offer a female-specific nutrition course.
How exciting.
And I was like, obviously, I'm super interested in that. I love learning about nutrition, and especially when it comes to like the female cycle and all of that stuff that I can't wait to get into. And they selected me.
Whoa,
Yay! Yay!
Congratulations.
So Amy Needham follow her on Instagram if you're interested in nutrition, and like she's amazing. Like all her content that she shares, I've been following her for a while, and like I always pick up tips from her. So I'm excited for that.
That's so exciting.
Yay.
So which course are you going to do then?
It's the female specific nutrition.
And how long is it?
I feel like it was 14 weeks. I did look at the curriculum, but I'm not sure now. So
right.
That is my PB for the week.
Well done. That is a good one.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for listening, and please share this pod around. We are growing, and we would like
Yay.
to grow further.
Yep.
We're going good.
Yep, we're going good. So thank you if you have stuck around and listened to this whole thing and tolerated me getting to know me.
Titty time.
Yes. And we'll be sharing more about Ella in a couple of weeks, and she'll be doing her interview and digging in deep to what makes Ella Ella. And yeah, any questions that you got, do ask.
Yeah, please. And any topics you would like us to mention and talk about in the podcast, please shoot them through, because
let
we're
us
super
know.
keen.
Yep. So make sure you follow us on Spotify there, subscribe.
Spotify's where we need to be.
Yeah, Spotify's been great. So thank you for listening. I hope you
really appreciate it.
all have a lovely week.
All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Have the best week, and see you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.